Book 7, the Odyssey, Book 7, Reception of Odysseus at the Palace of King Alcinous. Thus then did Odysseus wait and pray, but the girl drove on to the town. When she reached her father's house, she drew up at the gateway, and her brothers, homely as the gods, gathered round her, took the mules out of the wagon, and carried the clothes into the house, while she went to her own room, where an old servant, Medusa of Epira, lit the fire for her. This old woman had been brought by sea from Epira, and had been chosen as prize for Alcinous, because he was king over the Prussians, and the people obeyed him as though he were a god. She had been a nurse to Nausicaa, and had now lit the fire for her, and brought her supper for her into her own room. Presently Odysseus got up to go towards the town, and Athena shed a thick mist all around him, to hide him in case any of the proud Prussians who met him should be rude to him, or ask him who he was. Then as he was just entering the town, she came towards him in the likeness of a little girl carrying a pitcher. She stood right in front of him, and Odysseus said, "My dear, will you be so kind as to show me the house of King Alcinous? I am an unfortunate foreigner in distress, and do not know one in your town and country." Then Athena said, "Yes, father stranger, I will show you the house you want, for Alcinous lives quite close to my own father. I will go before you and show the way, but say not a word as you go, and do not look at any man, nor ask him questions, for the people here cannot abide strangers, and do not like men who come from some other place. They are seafaring folk, and sail the seas by the grace of Poseidon, in ships that glide along like a thought, or as a bird in the air." On this she led the way, and Odysseus followed in her steps, and no one of the Thracians could see him as he passed through the city in the midst of them, for the great goddess Athena in her goodwill towards him had hidden him in a thick cloud of darkness. He admired their labors, the ships' places of assembly, and lofty walls of the city, which with the palisade on top of them were very striking. And when they reached the king's house, Athena said, "This is the house, father stranger, which you would have me show you. You will find a number of great people sitting at table, but do not be afraid. Go straight in, for the bolder a man is, the more likely he is to carry his point, even though he is a stranger. First find the queen, her name is Arete, and she comes of the same family as her husband Alcinous. They both descend originally from Poseidon, who was father to Nausithous by Periboea, a woman of great beauty. Periboa was the youngest daughter of Eurymedon, who at one time reigned over the giants, but he ruined his ill-fated people and lost his own life to boot. Poseidon, however, lay with his daughter, and she had a son by him, the great Nausithous, who reigned over the Prussians. Nausithous had two sons, Xenor and Alcinous. Apollo killed the first of them while he was still a bridegroom, and without male issue, but he left a daughter Arete, whom Alcinous married, and honors as no other woman is honored of all those that keep house along with their husbands. Thus she both was and still is respected beyond measure by her children, by Alcinous himself, and by the whole people who look upon her as goddess, and greet her whenever she goes about the city. For she is a thoroughly good woman, both in head and heart, and when any women are friends of hers, she will help their husbands also to settle their disputes. If you can gain her goodwill, you may have every hope of seeing your friends again and getting safely back to your home and country." Then Athena left Chiaria and went away over the sea. She went to Marathon into the spacious streets of Athens, where she entered the abode of Erythothus. But Odysseus went on to the house of Alcinous, and he pondered much as he paused aloud before reaching the threshold of bronze, for the splendor of the palace was like that of the sun or moon. The walls on either side were of bronze from end to end, and the cornice was of blue emerald. The doors were gold and hung on pillars of silver that rose from the floor of bronze, while the lintel was silver, and the hook of the door was of gold. On either side there stood gold and silver mastiffs, which Hephaestus, with his consummate skill, had fashioned expressly to keep watch over the palace of King Alcinous, so they were immortal and could never grow old. Seats were ranged all along the wall, here and there, from one end to the other, with coverings of fine woven work, which the women of the house had made. Here the chief persons of the Prussians used to sit and eat and drink, for there was an abundance at all seasons, and there were golden figures of young men with lighted torches in their hands, raised on pedestals to give light by night to those who were at table. There are 50 maidservants in the house, some of whom are always grinding rich yellow grain at the mill, while others work at the loom, or sit and spin, and their shuttles go backwards and forwards like fluttering of aspen leaves, while the linen is so closely woven that it will turn oil. As the Prussians are the best sailors in the world, so their women excel in all others in weaving, for Athena has taught them all manner of useful arts, and they are very intelligent. Outside the gate of the outer court there is a large garden, about 4 acres of a wall all round it. It is full of beautiful trees, pears, pomegranates, and most delicious apples. There are luscious figs also, and olives in full growth. The fruits never rot nor fail all the year round, neither winter nor summer, for the air is so soft that a new crop ripens before the old one has dropped. Pear grows on pear, apple on apple, fig on fig, and so also with grapes, for there is an excellent vineyard on the level ground of the heart of this. The grapes are being made into raisins, and another part they are being gathered. Some are being trodden in the wine tubs, others further on have shed their blossom and beginning to show fruit. Others again are just changing color. From the farthest part of the ground there is a beautifully arranged beds of flowers that are in bloom all year round. 2 streams go through it, the one turned in ducks throughout the whole garden, while the other is carried under the ground of the outer court to the house itself, and the townspeople draw water from it. Such then were the splendors which with the gods had endowed the house of King Alcinous. So here Odysseus stood for a while, and looked about him, but when he had looked long enough, he crossed the threshold, and went within the precincts of the house. There he found all chief people among the Prussians making their drink offerings to Hermes,